welcome back to more Knuckles the Echidna, issue 16. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, more Knuckles, you want to read the Sonic comics. Well, these comics are important to the Sonic Archie lore. I know they're shit and they're stupid and dumb. But we're halfway through, there's 32 issues, so I guess we're about halfway through, I guess. So, we had to stick through it. I know no one watches these videos compared to the Sonic ones, but I have to do them. They're part of the lore. Whether you like it or not, we are reading every one of these shitty Knuckles comics. Let's get into this. We don't read these because guess what? No little kid was reading these either. You know, if you're a kid in the 90s and you picked this up, would you read this part? I know I didn't. Look, for us, we don't have anything to read, so I'm going to let you look at this picture, I guess. I don't know what it means exactly, but here's the picture. And what is this face? Knuckles, you're home! Mom! Oh, Knuckles, I prayed every day and night for your safe return. I'm fine, Mom, really. Hey, what's the racket out here? Ah, Mother Hen has arrived. Here, this, drink up of milk will relax you. You mean you knew that Knuckles is back? When did you find out? When? All in good time, darling Lara. In the meantime, why not get caught up with your son? I finished cooking dinner. That's a wonderful idea. After all, after the way you and your grandfather fared to Party Knuckles. She's gonna ask. I can feel it. I'm more than curious to know how you made your way back. Switching to stealth mode. As I approach the floating island on course, entering through the holographic cloaked portal, which serves as a gateway to the flight deck of none other than Haven. It's a why is he in the slave one as well? I want to know. And also, I saw X-Wing in the background. Ken Penders, are you fucking lazy? You just steal stuff from Star Wars? I know you reference shit all the time because you're bad at rating, but it's so annoying. It's so good to return to familiar surroundings after months in the hinterlands. Tabor, it's been a long time, ancestor. Welcome home. Is that you, Saber? Who else is with you? Everyone of the current brotherhood is gathered for this. There's much to discuss and decide. Let me see if I have this straight. You returned by creating an energy tunnel of some kind, all by yourself? How is that possible? I was hoping that maybe you could tell me. After all, who would know more about me than my parents? You were born the same as any other kid in Knuckles. But you'll have to ask your father what happened between your birth and hatching. Like something wrong with Knuckles? Why can't I see him? Dr. Jock simply wants to run some tests to make certain that everything's alright. It normally takes 3 days between birth and hatching, but a day later I was holding you in my arms. Isn't he beautiful, like? He has you for a mother, Laura. How could he be anything but? Everything seemed fine until months later when I found you playing. Goo Goo. I went as the first sign that something was different about you. Yeah, he's advertising the Sega Saturn, which didn't do well in America. Did well everywhere else. I mean, not everywhere else, really, but it did well in Japan. But not in America. I can't even find games for it. Like, seriously. I have a Saturn console I found. I was like, oh, good, I get good games. But then I can't because the games are way too expensive. I just want to play Sonic on the actual console. Anyway, enough of my problems. Different. In what way, Mother? You were spelling words far in advance of your age level before you could even speak. I would also like Nights in the Dreams. I would like that game. Never mind, sorry, I digress. Words even I had trouble with sometimes. When you were but 3 years of age, it was your father who supervised your training and determined what was in your best interest. Don't you think I should have some say, Locke? He's my son as well. This is how I was brought up, Laura, as were my ancestors before me. Thinking on my death, I sought counsel from your grandmother, Jenna Lou. I just wish I knew what to do. Well, what? You know what the problem is, Laura Lee. You think relationships are a matter of equality, whereas the reality a master of give and take. Excuse me. Take your situation with Locke and Knuckles. You think you should have as much influence over Knuckles as he does Locke? I'm his mother. Yes, but Knuckles is destined to be a guardian. But, oops, I think I went back. By the way, this is really bad advice, just to let you know. Just to let you know, this is really bad advice. Don't take any of Ken Pender's advice, okay? This is bad parenting advice. This is a shit comic. Yes, Knuckles is destined to be a guardian. Lock to him what his duties will be. You, on the other hand, can set an example by showing him the person he can become. May I ask you a question? Certainly, Laura, dear. And I asked her, happy the way things turned out for her, you? It was she? She said, she smiled and said simply, I lost out my darling saber. And so then what happened? Try to take her advice, but I'm afraid I was brought up differently from your grandmother. Some ways reminding me of what little I remember of my grandmother, Jenna. Time and experience will do that to a person, Knuckles. I guess Knuckles talks to himself then. And if you couldn't tell, Knuckles' dad's a really shit dad, and we'll get even more of that later on. But it's not called out in the Ken Penner story. He made him the worst father ever, but he acts like that's a good thing. When other writers took hold of the character, they put a light to him. It's like this guy's a shit father. But in the Ken Penners arc, they're defending him, acting like he's the best guy. He did this for a reason. All these shitty things. Kind of weird though. It makes you really see how messed up Ken Penner's worldview is. I mean, you've seen the shitty row on Twitter. I mean, come on. And I'm the same person I was now that I was then. Now we have all gathered. I guess it's time to get caught up. Would you be care to begin, Grandfather Tobar? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you one thing that doesn't make any sense. I hate about these Knuckles comics is the I guess I call this what Haven, the fucking Brotherhood of fucking Echidnas. So every Guardian just lives fucking forever apparently. Some of them actually die, but they only die because they have to get killed. They don't die natural causes. I don't even know that's explained because the only one that actually has any special abilities, technically speaking, is Knuckles. They guess they have some cybernetics. They're fucking hypocrites too, but they're to technology. I mean, the writing is I can't even speak. It's so bad, but the writing is so bad in these comics. It's so convoluted. Like, why? There's no reason for any of these characters to be alive. There's like one storyline they're coming up on what they do with these other fuckers, but it's only like only characters that really matter in these Brotherhood is fucking Locke and maybe Aether, but Aether's not even really a part of it either. So what the fucking the other guys are so useless, and they just sit around fucking around the whole time. They're supposed to be like wise people. They act like fucking idiots and don't do jack shit. I hate these fucking kids so much. So much in fact is that when Ian Flynn began writing the comics, he basically just kills these fuckers off immediately. Oh my god. All is peaceful in the Dragon Kingdom, except for that bit of a business involving a hedgehog named Sonic and his friend Tails. Fortunately, things didn't get out of hand that I had to step in. If he's the same one I'm thinking of, he was nothing but trouble and down under. I had a lot of cleaning up to do after he left. Oh, they're at Quancoke. They do this cleaning up shit to make them look cool. Like, oh, look at this stupid head. This compares us a lot. Like, look how stupid this hedgehog character is. These characters are way cooler. Sonic sucks. Joffrey is the best character. Like, stupid shit like that. Ugh, I hate that writing. That was nothing, Thunderhawk. You should have seen. Enough with that hedgehog, grandfather. Shouldn't you? What the fuck even name is that? Sujaneer? Everyone, please. Don't forget Ken Penner's image crossover arc that was just to advertise his fucking shitty comic. We got the picture. With our Robotnik round to terrorize the general populace, things have gone somewhat chaotic. His lieutenants want to take control over their little what fiefdoms? Fiefdoms? What the fuck's a fiefdom? Everyone else just wants to rebuild their lives and move on. This makes ways, in many ways, it makes our mission that much more complicated, Saber. It's easier to prevent ultimate annihilation or common enemy from usurping total control than it is trying to figure out which bush, brush fire to put out. It's supposed to be bush fire, not brush fire. Whatever. You are referring to robotics lieutenants, as well as the disciplines of Dimitri. Maybe our council of advisors have a suggestion or two. Perhaps. From our vantage point, you gentlemen feel your purpose lacks focus. My father's right. What you really need to consider is whether or not your duties have outgrown your original intent. In what way, Semper Fidelis? The Guardian's mission has always been defined as protector of the floating island. Well, the brother has looked after echidna interest on a global scale. The fact is that outside interest can affect echidna interest. Therefore, you have two choices. One, you can conduct business as usual and allow the echidna to become an irrelevant force from Mobius, or two, you can become a force to lead the echidnas and the other species on this planet to a new golden age.
Dinner is served.
About time. I'm starved. It's more than enough for everyone, I'm sure. Mmm, smells great. It does indeed. What is it?
My specialty, Pondala exquisite. Enjoy.
Like Mom said, what the fuck is it? Try it. You'll like it. Famous last words. I guess I made him not sound like Sonic for some reason. I don't know. I just don't give a shit anymore. It'll do. Do you always eat this fancy? Not usually, but today is rather special.
One, your mother and I have discussing has been discussing for some time. Something we're hoping, we're hoping, or I'm hoping, we're hoping that you will join in our happiness.
Yeah, I'm happy. You're happy. What's not to be happy? Were you happy, Mom? Wayne has asked me to marry him, dear, and I've accepted.
Excuse me.
Knuckles had to go after him and win.
I think not, Laura. I suggest you let him be for now. When he's ready, Knuckles will talk to you. In the meantime, we just have to be patient.
Hey, Knuckles. Wait up, Nux. When the man finally reappears, he's making tracks at supersonic speed. We should go after him. No, not you guys, but I should. You? Yeah, you want to make something of it? With you, anytime, any. No, Vector. Go, Julie Sue. I'll meet up with you later. Have you lost it, SBO? I mean, he might get into trouble for his buds. How's buds? I doubt it, Vector. If you saw the look in her eyes that I did, I would take a lot more than you to stop her.
We have a bigger problem. Knuckles! Lock, son? Yeah! My father there took Knuckles with him and provided the proper scenario for him to instinctively call on his abilities. Abilities he hasn't fully matured into.
We've all had to endure going through adolescence, Saber. Just because it's more challenging for one of our own than your typical echidna.
No, this is far graver.
Grandfather Spectre, are you aware of something we're not?
I warned you years ago against tampering with the natural order for any reason, Locke. I don't recall you objecting so loudly back then, grandfather. Back then I spoke based on intuition. Now I speak from knowledge.
Based on what?
For where? Go easy, Locke. The Spectre is concerned. That's justification alone for us to consider Knuckles' problem in a more serious light.
Hey, there, would you like some company? I'd rather be by myself, thanks. You don't listen very well, do you? Especially not to you, that's for sure. It figures, how about, hey, what did you go and do that for? I'm not even sure I even like you. I was simply returning you the favor. Favor? Yeah, like when you try to cheer me up? Yeah, well, okay, I just, this once. If that's what you meant, Julie Sue. Yeah, don't ever do that again. Won't even consider it. Oh, yes, I would. Just wish I understood why. Really wish it wasn't that bad. Actually, that felt kind of nice.
This is the Thus, as the full moon shines brightly in the clear night sky, two figures share a comfortable silence, contemplating their future, so very different at the first glance, yet so very much alike. Each morning, for the first time, they ever are seeing a kindred spirit, and the other something more than a friend. Both wondering if it's worth to find out. Oh my goodness. Oh, here's the fan art. That was bad. It was bad. Let's be honest, it was bad. Next issue is Knuckles again. More Knuckles. See you then.